I'm joined by Dr. Abigail Disney and a few dozen other members of Patriotic Millionaires here today with one request for America's lawmakers in there: tax us.
You just watched a man named Morris Pearl. He's the chair of a group known as the Patriotic Millionaires, pleading with American politicians to please tax the rich. In fact, they're arguing that if the United States government fails to do so, it could lead to the end of our democracy. Now, Pearl stated this, quote, "The tax code has been contributing to growing inequality for decades, and we're reaching a point where the concentration of wealth is simply unsustainable. We need a change or our economy and our democracy will not survive. For my future, my grandchildren's future, and our country's future, we need to tax the rich." Now, I wanna note, these are the patriotic millionaires. No word from the patriotic billionaires. Not so concerned about paying their fair share of taxes, but I'll continue. So what should be done about this issue? Well, here's Abigail Disney explaining the new and improved tax code that the Patriotic Millionaires would actually like to see signed into law.
The Patriotic Millionaires are here to offer 3 core principles for that tax framework. 1, treat all income over $1 million in the same manner, whether it's generated from ordinary income or capital gains or inheritance. 2, make our income tax code truly progressive. That means raising the standard deduction to charge nothing to people who don't even make a living wage, and it means imposing significantly higher marginal tax rates on extremely high incomes. And the third is pass a tax specifically designed to rein in wealth concentration, a wealth tax on the richest people in America. If we can do these 3 things, we can save America. And if we don't, we won't.
That was Walt Disney's, niece. Actually, Walt Disney is the great uncle of Abigail Disney. Anyway, moving on though, what she said there is absolutely correct. Our current tax system is simply not good enough at properly taxing the wealthiest people in our country. More details on that. A massive trove of IRS documents obtained by ProPublica last year showed that the 25 richest Americans, including Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and Tesla CEO Elon Musk, paid an average true tax rate of just 3.4% between 2014 and 2018, in large part because unrealized capital gains from stock appreciation are not taxed. So what they do is they have most of their assets invested. Those investments keep growing, and what they'll do is they will get loans and use those investments, the unrealized gains from those investments, as collateral. And they'll just live off that debt, which of course they get all sorts of favorable terms for. And that's how they avoid having to pay any taxes, including capital gains taxes, which are lower than income taxes. It's absolutely insane. That was a pretty explosive report by ProPublica. We talked about it on the show. I highly recommend you guys go back and watch that report or read the ProPublica report if you have like an afternoon to yourself, because those reports are super long. But nonetheless, while billionaires are laughing all the way to the bank, the rest of us are in fact suffocating financially. According to an Oxfam America analysis published just last week, US billionaires have gotten 86% richer over the past decade, with $37 of every $100 of wealth created between 2012 and 2021 going to the top 1%. The bottom 50% only received $2 for every $100 of wealth generated during that period, according to Oxfam. And the number of US billionaires, of which there are now more than 700, is also nearly 60% higher than it was a decade ago, according to the analysis. So the money is moving from everyone else, middle class, the working poor, all the way to the top. So the billionaires can get richer. It is unbelievable. Well, it is believable when you consider the way the system is set up. This is the way it works. This is why letting the wealthiest people in the country get away with paying very little in taxes, a much smaller percentage in income taxes than ordinary Americans do, leads to inequality, which leads to anger and resentment, and leads to divisions in the country. I really do think that is the heart of the divisiveness that we're seeing in the United States and elsewhere. The rhetoric of patriotic millionaires is all well and good, but are these wealthy individuals actually putting their money where their mouth is? I've always wondered about that, right? Because it's real easy to say, like, we want the government to tax us more. But what are you doing to make it happen? Well, each member donation varied. The common thread was that most of them have donated tens, if not tens of thousands of dollars to the Democratic Senatorial Committee, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, and or DNC Services, the DNC Services Corporation. So here's one detail. So Morris Pearl, the man that we opened the story with, donated a few $1,000s to politicians I like a lot, like Nina Turner, Jessica Cisneros, who ran for a House seat in Texas 2 times, unfortunately lost. But I really hope she runs again because she is a wonderful progressive. So when it comes to them putting their money where their mouth is, I love to see that Morris Pearl, who is again the chair of Patriotic Millionaires, is supporting the right kinds of candidates. And based on our research, we haven't seen any other member donate money to nefarious politicians who want to deregulate industry and cut taxes further for the wealthiest people. So it seems like they're real about this and they're genuinely trying to change the way taxes are paid in the country. And I hope they succeed. And I think they're right. We absolutely do need to change something because the inequality that we're experiencing is leading to more division, more hatred, and it could make the difference when it comes to protecting our democratic process.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.